Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today I am not doing a 2 o'clock morning thought, but this is it's actually a daytime thought.
I welcome when it first again.
Today I want to talk about passion. I didn't know what my passion was until the age of 17 when I had to go to tertiary. After high school, I went to study psychology for my degree because it didn't sound right to not have degree. I mean, I had good marks, so they were not best. Trust me, they were not best. But then they qualified me to go to varsity, and I studied with Midrand Graduate Institute psychology. And there's a lot that I discovered that year, and I discovered passion and what it is. During my journey of studying psychology, I realized that psychology wasn't the thing for me because then I started being exposed to all of these students who who are doing different things. And I was like, whoa, there's that. I didn't know there was that. You can actually do that. People study for that. People study for acting. What if I want to be an actor? Because either we were told those jobs are not good enough, or they were not sustainable enough, or you never thought they existed because no one in your surrounding back home would talk about it. So then my love for psychology just drifted. It went. So I did my first year, but then I didn't have a plan how I'm gonna start my second year because I was using a student loan and I didn't have money to finance the rest of the degree. But then that helped me because I never even wrote my final exam in psychology. I actually dropped out after during the final term. I stopped going to school. I wasn't passionate about it. I hated it. Like I started hating psychology and going to school. I started knowing that this is not for me. This is not what I want. But I don't know what I want. But this is not it. I just knew. Then the following year, I stayed home and I took a gap year. So then I committed myself to church and serving. And that's where I met the world of media. My love, my everything, my morning breath, my everyday lifestyle now. Trust me, I feel like I'm in a relationship with doing media. It's the best thing ever that has happened to me. So then when I started devoting myself to serving at church, I started being trained how to do media in the media department. There was a production media department, and they taught me how to do sound, camera, lighting, streaming, anything, AV, audio visuals. And I'm telling you, every day waking up to go to church to do that was the best time of my life. It was like I'm breathing every day. I remember it wasn't a paying job. I was literally volunteering. And they were giving me a skill. People would be like, why do you always go to church every day when the church doesn't even pay you to do what you do? And I'm like, you don't know, guys. This is better than any money I can receive in the world. It was the best thing that had ever happened to me. I was exposed to this new world. And the way I was so passionate about it, to this day, 5 years later, I would still give the world for doing media. I went as far as I would walk 6 to 7 kilometers just to get to church. If it means I must walk 1 hour 30 minutes, 1 hour 45 minutes, I would do that just so I could go to church and learn how to use a camera, learn how to make sound, learn how to do everything, even though I would do things wrong and I'd be called out for it. you're not doing it this right. I would never take offense over nothing. Like, nothing would shake me, nothing would move me. There was nothing you could say to move me. I would just be there, and I'd be willing to apologize and learn. I was like a little kid who just got this toy, and she wanted it so bad. She wanted to do everything with it, and if it meant going through punching bags, being called out, people who were strict, those were the best people I've ever met in my life. People who had to teach me, even if a person is busy and I'm just in their space, I wouldn't feel like, oh no, they're not giving me attention and they're not investing in me. That didn't matter. Like, I would look above all negativity, because I was pursuing this passion that was ignited in me. And trust me, now it's 5 years later, I would still do the same thing over again, and it's still the best thing that ever happened to me. So I found my passion that year, and then obviously I turned it into a business. It failed. I went through a lot of self-doubt, self-condemnation, as my previous post does say what I went through. But even though I went through that saying, I'm not good enough for business, but I knew that I cannot not do media. This is my daily breath. I have to be behind the camera. So even though I wouldn't go about it the business way, I found ways of turning it into a career. As we speak, I still don't have my degree in media. I'm still pursuing it, but it's what I do every day. I work as a media assistant. Now I'm up again in the business field, and I'm running my new media business, and it's been the best thing ever. So what I'm trying to say is that when you are young, we get to be filled with these thoughts, and we plan out our future the way we think it's going to be, until we go out there in the world, and then we discover that the world is bigger than what we think it is, and we end up being confused, because then we have so much that we were told when we were young, when we were kids, like, you cannot pursue that, you cannot do that, or you just never thought things existed. And what I want to say is that it's okay to pursue your passion. I feel like the most happiest people in the world are people who are pushing that passion, that's one thing that people don't do anymore. Person works behind a till, and they're so nasty and insulting, and they're so not happy with what they do, because that's not what they want to do. So I would like to encourage people to actually take time in learning what they're passionate about, especially if you're still young. You can start as young as 12 to figure out what you want to do with your life. Start figuring out what you like, what makes you wake up at night, what helps you to go through the day. And you try and spend time turning that passion into a career. Because I did that. I realized that being behind the camera is one thing that I love to do. And I've never been wrong since then. I would do it over again. I think, my colleague Michelle always tells me that, I always hear you say you never feel like you work a day. And I agree. That quote relates to me, that says, if you do your passion, you will never work a day. I don't feel like that. Even though I'm in the office every single day, I feel like I'm just in my utmost space. So yeah, if you're young and you stay home, or you still have people who know how to take care of you, and you don't have responsibilities, you don't have to make ends meet, take that time to find what you love. Take that space and turn it into a learning curve. Learn yourself, what you want to pursue, what you want to do, where you see yourself, where you want to go in life. Do that, and you'll be shocked at how happy you will be, and how that can turn into the biggest thing that ever happened to you. I've seen people turn something they're passionate about. People are vloggers now because they're just passionate about being in front of the camera and speaking their minds out without having to be scripted or something has to be written down for them. And they're happy, they're making money. And what I would say is that when it comes to choosing a career, that's your 9 to 5. That's that's your 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. Choose something you are passionate about, and you wouldn't be an angry person, you wouldn't be an angry teller, you wouldn't be a person that hates other colleagues, because every day you need to come and be around these people that you despise because the problem it's not them, it's actually you. You don't want to be there. You don't feel like being there. That's not where you feel you are meant to be. Same as if you are past that phase where you have the privilege of learning who you are because now you have responsibilities, so you have to keep your 9 to 5 job. And even though it doesn't make you happy, do your 9 to 5 job. But then when you knock off and you go home, sit down, have a journal, write what makes you happy, and spend the rest of your afternoon invested in it. Be in your room. If you have passion for writing, get in your room, just start writing. Do that. And once a while, send your artwork out. Sometimes we get to do what we need to do in order to get what we want. Work your 9 to 5 job and invest your income on building yourself an empire for your passion. If you want to be a writer, take 10% of your salary and invest in releasing a book. If it's something you're really passionate about, you'll always find means. There's always going to be a leeway where you get away with everything, and there's always going to be a leeway where you make means and it works. I've seen it working for me. So yeah, I'm at work now, have some editing to do and some digital marketing to get on with. As much as I love videography and photography, just that whole cinematography spectrum, I still need to do what needs to be done in order for me to still keep the passion, because unfortunately everything comes in a package, and in my case videography and cinematography came in a package of having to do digital marketing. And because 80% I'm happy, the 20% is a new challenge. I take it as a new challenge and something that I'm still learning every day. So change your perspective and your narration when it comes to career paths, and be open-minded. Can't wait to share my journey behind the camera with the work that I do.